Folks, it's Friday. It's payday. This is your Major League Baseball show right here on the networks of SportsBookReview.com. I'm your host, Donnie, with my co-host, Jason Radowitz. A huge look. Yesterday we had five games to go over on the card. Today, a huge card. We'll speed through it 30 to 35 minutes. Get you those top plays you need. Jason, hey man, sometimes the nights don't work out exactly the way you planned. But the good part about baseball, it's every single day you get right back on that horse, brother.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yesterday only 5 games on the card. Obviously, we had 6 games, one game earlier in the day, and that was the Mets. So that's the game that I just don't look at anyway. So now we're going to the weekend. We have a full slate of games. Tomorrow we'll have an even bigger slate of games with the Cardinals coming back, which will be really exciting. So excited to see that. But we'll not be betting on the Cardinals even when they do come back. And I would tell you guys to probably stay away from the Cardinals as well, because we have no idea what to expect out of that team. But yeah, it was a crazy night last night. The Padres-Dodgers scored 5 runs in the first inning. I had under 4.5 in 5 innings. That was the most embarrassing pick I've given out in my entire life. But you know what? That's fine, because now that's gone. I've done that, been there. Now we're going to go back to giving out some solid plays.
No, look, some things work out yesterday, and I sort of feel bad, too, because coming into yesterday, I had 2 games circled as my banker of the day. Thank goodness I went with Tampa Bay, and by the 3rd inning, I was partying, and it makes you feel like a genius when they end up with 17 runs in the game that you had a team total. So I felt real good about that. But you know where I felt bad was the Phillies game. I loved that team total over 5. If I wasn't going to be the Rays, it was going to be the Phillies. I know you went with it. I was comfortable watching it all the way through. They finally poked through, and I believe the 4th or the 5th inning where they get the 2-run home run by JT Realmuto. Couldn't get over the 5 runs for the game, but they had their chances once again. Sometimes, Jason, look, when you put your bets out there, all you ask for is a legitimate chance to win. It was there. It just didn't get home yesterday for you.
Yeah, that's how that game went. And then the other one, we were just screwed up in the beginning. So whatever, back to a new day of baseball. We're going to get back on the winning path.
No, but I'll tell you who was happy, Randy. Sorry, I remember a question I asked for Randy in the chat box right here yesterday about Glasnow over 5.5 Ks. He said it was a good bet. Ding, ding, ding. Ring that bell. Thanks for everybody tuning in already. 1 minute into the show, 78 people watching live. Philly Sports, James, Eric, Nick, Daniel, Randy, Roberto, Edwin. Thank you for tuning into the chat box. And as always, if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button just down low. If it's red, you're not doing your job. Flip that over to a blue or a gray. That means you've subscribed. And also turn on the notification bell. Every time Jason and I go live right here on Sportsbook Review, you'll get the information delivered directly to your inbox. And also, if you ever have any questions, oh my goodness, I missed the show, or I need more information, check out sbrpicks.com/MLB. All Jason's stuff is there. A lot of really good writers, videos, everything you need to be a better baseball bettor in Major League Baseball. But today, we got a big card. Let's not waste any time. As you guys know, me and Jason go over a handful of games to start the day. Then, of course, we open it up to the chat box, and we certainly want to let it rip. Let's go to the games today. First one on the card, 9:05, 9:06. And I don't know why this is on the card. I put it on the card yesterday figuring we might have a better pitching matchup, but it's Cole versus Brewer. And yes, a -330 is a total of 9 in this ball game. And where it stays hot, I'm going to stay. You saw yesterday again. The pitching that's holding up for the Red Sox is not doing its job. The bullpen's not doing its job. I'm going to go with the Yankees team total over 5.5 in this one, and also a game total of over 9. I know Garrett Cole's in the mound. I think the Red Sox can put up a few runs, but I think the Yankees carry the day. Give me the over on the game and also the over on the Yankees team total, Jason. What are you thinking about in this game here?
It's an interesting game. Obviously, Cole, one of the better pitchers in the league. Yankees going up against the Red Sox that have had really poor pitching and their bullpen, of course. So for me, yeah, I like the Yankees at over 5.5 on their team total. Over the game might be pushing it a little bit. What's interesting, though, right now is Garrett Cole velocity in 4 games so far, 91.9. Pretty high for an ace pitcher like him. But, with that said, yeah, Cole, 3.22 ERA, 3.87 FIP. Yeah, he's been terrific for the most part. Went up against the Rays his last start, allowed just 6 hits, 3 runs, but also had 10 strikeouts with just 1 walk and 107 pitches. So wasn't the best outing for him, but I think he'll get back to his normal days.
Mark Bullitt in the chat box, Donnie and Jason for president. We don't even need a vice president. He just says us both for president. I agree. 2020, Radowitz and RightSide, you can't go wrong. We'll lower your taxes. We'll win games in Major League Baseball. That's the ticket that you want to go with. 907, 908. Here it is. Now, maybe for the rest of baseball, saying, boy, this is a snooze fest. These two teams stink, whatever you want to think about them. It's the Mets and the Phillies here. DeGrom and Howard, 6 out of every 10 tickets here, Jason, coming in on your New York Mets. And why not? DeGrom is on the mound. We see the line across the board, 190s, even some outlets in New Jersey at minus 200 with DraftKings. The over-under in this game, 8.5 across the board. Team total Mets. Look, every time you're lining up right now against the Phillies, keep this in mind. Yesterday, the best pitcher that was on the field for the Phillies, Neil Walker, a position player who didn't allow an earned run and got 2 outs. That is amazing when you think about it. We're bringing guys up out of the bullpen to make their major league debuts, hyping them up, and their first pitches are getting hit 375 feet into the seats for 3-run home runs. Team totals are golden, going opposite the Philadelphia Phillies. I like Spencer Howard. A little bit of a rough start. There's no reason to me to bet the team total under against them. I'm going with the Mets team total over 4.5, minus 122 at 5 dimes. What are you looking at in this game, Jason? Just DeGrom's just going to make Swiss cheese of this lineup, or do you have some other ideas here?
Yeah, look, the Phillies have really struggled offensively. Obviously, they get shots up by the Orioles. Now they have to go face Jacob DeGrom, the NL Cy Young Award winner. Don't know how the Phillies are going to respond to that. They've also, a lot of the batters like Realmuto, like Didi Gregorius, they've struggled versus DeGrom in the past. So for me, I think the Mets in the first 5 would be the play. Both bullpens have been struggling as of late, but I do think the Mets do get over with their team total as well, like you said, against the Phillies. Spencer Howard didn't look good in his first start. Like you said, though, that he has potential. It could be good. I don't see him performing that well in this one. He, in that first start, allowed 12 fly balls, just 5 ground balls, 4 strikeouts, but allowed 2 home runs. I do think the Mets get some long balls in this game. So for me, yeah, Mets over on the team total, but I'd rather Mets in the first 5 because after that, when the bullpens are in, who knows what could happen?
No, you're exactly correct on that. And looking from a Phillies perspective, when you're trying to, inch your way back and maybe get some wins and try not to get swept by a team that lost 108 games in Major League Baseball last year, you have McCutchen and Hoskins, who's Hoskins supposed to be back in the lineup. He's really lost his way over the last year and a half. But whenever you have 2 guys that lead off the game and set the table, you'd like them to be hitting 175. So we'll see what happens there. Harper's been fine. Realmuto's been fine. But look, DeGrom's going to be on the mound. Well, I mean, what can you prognosticate here on this, right? 7 innings, 2 earned runs for DeGrom, and good luck with the Phillies bullpen. That's the way I look at this game, Jason.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, right now, through 4 games, DeGrom hasn't pitched 7 innings yet. The most he's gotten is 6 innings. I do think he'll stretch out a little bit in this one, perform well against the Phillies, a rival team that, whenever you face the Mets and Phillies game, it's always a little bit more extra, juice in the game. Obviously, fans to really set the mood or whatever. But yeah, I do think that DeGrom should be able to go a little bit deeper in this game. He has struggled a little bit in that last game. I don't think that that's going to linger. I think he'll perform well in this one. So I'd be all team Mets for this one.
Yeah, no, I would agree, and I should be in a better mood here. Hopefully the Flyers pick up a win this afternoon on a 3 o'clock puck drop with the Montreal Canadiens. Then I won't be as harsh on my Phillies if they get stoned tonight, so we'll see what happens. 9:13, 9:14 Atlanta and Miami, Wright and Lopez. How about Dade County getting a baseball game here? Lopez is going to take the mound versus Wright. Over-under in this game, 8.5, some 9s out there, but the prevailing number is 8.5, and roughly a pick-em in this game. Lopez has been pretty good to start the season. Wright has not. I still can't get a grip. You're going to get a lot of left-handed batters in the estimated lineup here tonight for the Miami Marlins, and I like that a lot. But when I look at this game overall, I want to lean on the Marlins team total 3.5, which is you can get it juicy here at 5 dimes at minus 140. So obviously 4 runs to win. And also keep in mind, I don't really like game atmosphere because it's air conditioned, the humidity is not in there, the ball doesn't carry as well. But keep in mind, in the offseason, that is a monster stadium. I've been there before, but the field has actually changed some of the dimensions. The fence has actually been brought in right field and also left field for this. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm going to lean on the Marlins 3.5. I think they can get the 4 runs, but still a tough cap for me when I take a look at the Marlins.
Yeah, I'm happy you said that because look, I'm on the Marlins first 5 money line at minus 106. I don't trust Kyle Wright at all. The guy has 10 walks, 11 strikeouts, allowed 2 home runs, 15 hits in 12 innings pitched. He allows 42.4% hard contact, allows a wild 15.1% walk rate with the highest SIERA on the entire MLB slate. And you just talked about how Lopez, he's looked pretty good in his first 2 starts, a 1.8 ERA, a 2.07 FIP. He's got an extremely high amount of ground balls, very low exit velocity, and does allow a little bit of hard contact or low hard contact. So yeah, he allows a low exit velocity and low hard contact. So for a guy that, like you said, it might be a dome atmosphere or whatever, the different temperatures in the stadium, it's not going to really matter to him because he's got 66.7% of ground balls in the first 2 games. That ball is going to stay on the ground against the Braves, who are now without Ozzy Albies and Ronald Acuna in this game. So yeah, I love the Marlins here. First 5 on the money line at -106. Yeah, that's the official play for me.
9:15, 9:16, another good game here. Kansas City, a betting game for me, which matches up to what I like to look at. Kansas City and Minnesota. If you haven't checked, there is a pitching change in this game that was changed to Ian Kennedy from Jacob Junis, and I don't think it's going to make any difference one bit. And Jake Odorizzi on the opposite side has really struggled to start the season also. I was able to get 9.5 as a total for this game, but now 10s are flat across the board. The line -190 in the favor of Minnesota, and that's due to how much damage they can do with their bats. But when I take a look at both of these sides, I don't see a lot from these two pitchers, and I see two lineups that should be able to put up runs. I don't see any reason why this game shouldn't hit double digits. I'm taking the over in this game here, Jason.
Yeah, the funny thing is, last night I got over 9 at -129.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, I took that over 9, but I agree with you. I think this will be a double-digit game. Ian Kennedy is going on the mound for the Royals, but Jacob Junis will also be pitching in this game as well. So you'll get Kennedy for 2 innings. You'll get Junis for 3-4 innings if he even lasts that long, because he could get shelled out of the game. So for me, yeah, Junis, he's allowed hard contact, has the high Sierra. Ian Kennedy, he's allowed 6 home runs in, I think, like 8 innings pitched so far this season. Obviously, we know the Twins are capable of when it comes to power. And Twins already have 1 home run off him in 1 inning. His last relief outing for Kennedy, this will be his first start of the season, but his last relief outing allowed 3 earned runs against the Reds in less than an inning pitched, which was pretty brutal. They're trying to get Kennedy back on track for this game, but Kennedy's looked awful. I don't think you're getting him back on track against the Twins offense. So for me, Kennedy and Junis on the mound against the Twins, I do think the Twins will score plenty of runs. So if you're a little weary on Odorizzi and think he'll maybe perform a little bit better, you can look at the Twins over their team total, but I don't think Odorizzi looked too great in his first start of the season. He's a guy that gives up high contact, doesn't get ground balls very well, does have solid numbers, but at the end of the day, he allowed 2 earned runs in just 3 innings on 4 hits, walked 2, just had 2 strikeouts, and that was the team that he faced before he faced the Royals in that start. I think that benefits the hitters if they see him again. So for me, yeah, I love the over 9. Over 9.5 is fine too.
84 degrees at first pitch there in Minnesota. Looks like a swirling wind. Opens up around 16 miles an hour, like foul pole to foul pole, and then circles around. And by the end of the game, it's blowing out 13 miles an hour. So we'll see. Hey, it's one of those games where if you have the total, you hope that inning or that hour, the wind is blowing out and they can catch a fly ball to get it out there. But again, both pitching matchups to me really makes sense to take the over. I'm going to lean that way as well. 9:17, 9:18, Milwaukee and the Chicago Cubs. Woodruff versus Chatwood. Roughly about a pick 'em out here. Opened up as a small favorite for the Milwaukee Brewers, and that stayed the same. Pinnacle's at 112. Chris is at 115. 5 dimes at -115. 7 out of every 10 tickets here coming in on the Chicago Cubs. I'm going to keep it simple the way I did last night. First 5 innings, I like the under 4.5 in that game. And it's always nice when a pitcher throws a no-hitter through 5. Gives you a really good shot at that 4.5, which hit fairly easily. I'm going to go back to the well today. Whenever the wind is blowing in Wrigley, it seems to have a direct effect on the overall scoring. I'm going to lean on the under 8.5 in this ball game, Jason. Which way are you looking here?
Yeah, this is an interesting game. It's really tough to say, yeah, the Brewers are going to win this game because the Brewers have been awful as of late. But look, they have the better pitcher on the mound. Brandon Woodruff's a much better pitcher than Chatwood. Chatwood had a great start to the season, but now struggled, allowed 8 runs to the Royals and 2.1 innings pitched on 11 hits in his last start. So, yeah, I don't know what Chatwood we're going to get. Is the Chatwood we're going to get from a couple of years ago or the Chatwood that started the season red hot and looked really good? Yeah, Woodruff getting 55% of ground balls this season, 2.53 ERA and a 3.3 FIP. Chatwood, 2.53 FIP, but does have a 5.4 ERA. For me, I think the Brewers are the better option here. Again, it's tough for me to say, yeah, Brewers are going to beat the Cubs when the Cubs are clearly the better team in the bigger picture. So for me, I think Brewers first 5 on the money line might be the play. I do think this game could slightly go under 8.5 is a little bit A little scary for me. It's a little bit of a low number when you have Chatwood, who gave up 8 runs in just 2.1 innings in his last start. And we know what the Brewers are capable of when their offense does kind of figure it out. Right now, it's not. So under seems like the better play, but it is, to me, it's a little bit of risky. There's a little risk there.
Sabino says, bet the Kansas City money line tonight. Jared Schrader, just bet the Twins team total over 5.5 minus 110. And Danny Nundi says, Oakland Athletics run line Giants when San Francisco loses. And sometimes I can't follow what the people are saying in the chat box, but I do read you guys anyway because we appreciate you guys. Randy, sorry, no Ramon tonight for Oakland. Oakland run line tempting, though. We'll get to that game in just a few moments. There is another game, Battle of California also here, 9:23, 9:24, the Dodgers and the Angels. Kershaw and Sandoval, the lineup, both of them. Lefties, 8 out of every 10 tickets coming in on Clayton Kershaw. That line opened up here, Jason, 147 offshore at SBRodds.com. At Pinnacle, now sits at 167, even as high at Chris at 175 and 5 dimes, around that 170 range. Now, in this one, when I take a look, and we always joke off the air, like how quickly it happens. And what I mean by that is the Dodgers being able to score, and just about everybody in the lineup can go yard. You're going to have a pretty good pitching matchup tonight, and something's going to have to give. We know Clayton Kershaw's been on point this year so far through only limited innings. But when you take a look at Sandoval, 2.84 xFIP through about 40 batters. And the key ingredient here is we like to call the Dodgers team launch angle. Well, how about this? 67% of the balls in play are ground balls for Sandoval. So that's going to match up here and say something is have to go on here. I'm still going to lean on the Dodgers in this game. To get 91 degrees out in LA, get a full 9 at-bats with a DH with the Dodgers, I'm going to take the team total Dodgers over 5, even though you have a low xFIP and Sandoval forces ground balls. I just think the Dodgers just going to wear out. Even if Sandoval goes 5, 6, 7 innings, you're still going to be able to eat on that bullpen. I'm going to lean on the Dodgers team total over 5. I think they can get there, Jason. What are you looking at?
Yeah, this is a game between two solid offenses and two solid pitchers. Sandoval, like you said, has a really great ground ball rate, which I like to look at when I'm looking at pitchers, and especially against teams like the Dodgers that have such great launch angles and hit the ball over the fence, a lot. So for me, yeah, this is a tough one. I like the Dodgers at minus 175. I'd even look at over 9 in this matchup. But again, you have two solid pitchers that could perform well. So for me, it's a stay away game. I think it's just more of a fun game to watch. Let's see how these pitchers perform. Can both these pitchers have a good pitch and just start dominating against one of these pitchers? I don't know what to expect. It's going to be a really fun game. So stay away game for me, but it'll definitely be fun tonight watching the game.
Yeah, nice little late night action here. 9:40 first pitch. You know what? We got another game on the West Coast here, Jason. Same time, 9:40 first pitch, 9:25, 9:26 on the rotation. That is San Diego and Arizona. Dinelson Lamet versus Merrill Kelly. 50-50 ticket split, but we got some pretty good line movement here. Offshore at SBRodds.com, minus 126. Pinnacle opens their line. They now sit at 149. Chris at 155. 5 dimes at 150. Even some of the New Jersey outlets chiming in around 160. The over-under opened up at 9. That now sits at 9.5. And look, I understand how good Lamet has been, but I think the bats with Arizona at home, I'm getting a pretty cheap price on this number. Maybe can get in after the bullpen. I'm going to go with the Arizona Diamondbacks team total of over 3.5 to get the 4 runs in this one. Bucking the trend a little bit, but if you could scrape by with Lamet, maybe get 2 runs over 5 or 6 innings, I think they can get off of that bullpen and certainly pick up 2 more runs. I'm going to go team total over 3.5. It's a little bit juicy, minus 130, but I think it might be worth it here. Which way are you looking in this game here?
Yeah, see, I like the Padres here. Padres, I got them at minus 127. So for me, yeah, that was a good play because he's faced the Diamondbacks already twice this season, allowed just 2 earned runs, 1 earned run in each game, 19 strikeouts and just 1 walk in 13.2 innings for Lamet against the Diamondbacks. I know there's some people on the side that will say, we've faced them twice. This is the 3rd time. This is where the Diamondbacks might be able to hit off of Lamet, but Lamet looked really good against the Diamondbacks. He's looked good throughout the entire season, just allowing 1 earned run in each, not just versus the Diamondbacks, but versus the Dodgers, versus the Giants as well. So that's 4 teams where he's just allowed 1 earned run in his starts per game. So for me, I like the Padres here at minus 127, hoping they can get out to a solid lead again, like last night, but then just hold the lead this time. At minus 127, it just seems like a too good to pass up game for me with the Padres at -127.
No, I hear you there. Thanks for tuning into the chat box. 215 people watching live 20 minutes into the show. Dan, Ryan, Chuck, Edwin, Cash Action, Adam, Lamont Williams, Mark, Edwin, welcome in. Look, Adam Rule says, Donnie, RightSide, my favorite capper on sportsbookreview.com. That's very nice. Like, people are very kind in the chat box quite a bit to us here, Jason. 901, 902. We have our card completed here, but now let's get to some bonus baseball. Why not head to Buffalo for that bonus? Richards and Roark on the mound. 8 of every 10 tickets coming in on Tampa Bay. Is that because they scored 17 times for Donnie yesterday? Could be. -146, -140s across the board. How about the total here? 10.5s across the board. I was able to get in with a small piece of Tampa Bay's first 5 innings today at over 2.5. And I'm going to take Tampa Bay for the game, team total over 5 as well. I think the good times continue. And look, we're going to get a lot of left-handed batters here in the presumptive lineup for the Tampa Bay Rays going up against Roark, who's really struggled against left-handed batters. I'm going to go with it here. Give me that AAA ballpark. Give me 5+ runs. I'm going Rays again tonight here. How about you, Jason?
Yeah, I think you hit it around the nail. Instead of just looking at a team, I think over 10 is the play on this one. Look, the Rays, both teams have been pretty hot offensively. The pitchers on the mound aren't so hot pitching wise. So, Richards, hitters are hitting 341 against him, with righties hitting 483. Roark, like you said, not pitching nearly as effective as we're used to seeing out of him. Both guys getting ground ball rates below 40%. And looks like in Buffalo, looks like the ball is starting to fly out there. So
yeah.
And then the funny thing is, like, you're looking at the Colorado game that we might get to a little bit later. That's 12.5. That's the over/under 12.5. The Buffalo game should be maybe a little bit higher than 10, especially these two offenses looking pretty good. The ball is flying out in that minor league ballpark. So for me, I think the best play on this game would be over 10. But I'm still going to wait for more of a sample size to really make official plays on these overs in Buffalo. But that's what it seems like it's going to be happening, just over Central over there.
A lot of people in the chat box giving it to Kikuchi for Seattle. We're going to make our way down in just a few moments and see if it adds up today and get some opinions on that. 903, 904. I just saw the Baltimore Orioles come in and absolutely lay waste to the Philadelphia Phillies. But the bad thing about Baltimore is you get a little bit of a level up in competition when Steven Strasburg's finally going to take the mound today. The lefty Maloney's going to face him. 5 out of 10 tickets are coming. Actually, about a 50-50 ticket split, which is kind of interesting here. Opened up at -170 offshore, but now is dipping back to 167, 165 at 5 dimes. I don't have much of an opinion on this game, but it's kind of interesting because you see Baltimore's bats are hot, and I know the public likes to see that and say, hey, you know what? I'll take a nice dog in this game. No people in the crowd. Hopefully they can outlast Strasburg, get into the bullpen. I don't see it as a bad way to look at it, but I do think Washington's going to be able to get some base hits against the Orioles and that bullpen. But just what the public has saw, like, hey, these bats are swinging. They're a legitimate team this year, and I'm getting +150 plus at home. I'll take a flyer on it. I can see where they're going here, Jason.
Yeah, except there's another game before this game. They're gonna play that, the
That's
other
right.
game.
You're right. Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So
Yes.
so now you come into this game and they've already played a little bit, right? So for me, I think under 9 would be the play. Strasburg, I would expect him to get back to his norm and pitch well. Obviously, got ejected from the game the other day or yesterday, which was pretty funny. But Tommy Malone looks pretty good as well. 3.21 ERA, a 2.57 FIP, and Strasburg in that one start that he had, which they're going to be finishing up earlier today. It's funny. Strasburg started that game that they're finishing up. Strasburg will then pitch again for this one. 2.84 FIP for him in that start, so wasn't as bad as his ERA says, 10.38. So I'm looking at under 9 in this game. I think they're going to be a little bit tired. The lineups might be a little bit different compared to what we normally see if they don't want to play their guys for 2 games. So for me, I think under 9 might be the play here. It's not an official play for me, but it could end up an official play for me once I see that first game. So I'll decide a little bit later and post on Twitter. But I really do like the under, and I might just be under in the first 5 instead of under in 9 with these pitchers on the mound.
Sabino says, love your show, by the way. I watch it daily. Thank you for the help. And Mark, easily my highlight during my lunch break. Glad I found you guys. Well, we're glad you found us as well. And 233 other people have found us as well today. So we do want to thank you. And again, I like to talk about this to subscribers. Look, it's 66,400. It's rising at least by 100 every single day. So we do thank you for that. Keep on hitting that subscription button. We've got a lot of big thing plans for the fall and also into the future. And it doesn't start or go anywhere without you guys coming coming in the chat box and having some fun with us here. Let's keep moving it forward. 909, 910, Cleveland and Detroit. You know me some. I love to fade my Ivan Nova, and I'm going to do it again today. Line opens up at 165 for the Indians, now sits at close to 200 or more at multiple outlets offshore. The over-under opened up at 9, now sits at 8.5. I am looking at this, and I'm going to be angry at the end of the night. I might have to take a walk late at night because I really like the Cleveland Indians team total over 4.5, minus 130 at 5 dimes. They're going to load up lefty batters. Ivan Nova doesn't strike anybody out, struggles with left-handed pitchers. I'm going to get a full 9 at-bats in this game. Come on, Indians, help me out. Jason, I like the team total with the Indians here, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I've won a single bet with the Indians this season so far. And then the funny thing is, like Ivan Nova, he's got a ground ball rate of what I see is 55% around there, which is pretty intriguing. Knowing that Nova's getting ground balls when obviously not striking out batters and walking a decent amount of batters as well. Aaron Savali obviously looks really good, 2.84 ERA, 2.33 FIP. Nova, a 5.05 FIP. We always fade Nova. Nova's got a high Sierra, low strikeout rate. But the Indians are just hitting dead last in every category. Like we always talk about, though, that should, like if you look at their lineup, that should not be the case. They have a great top of the order with Cesar Hernandez. You have Lindor.
All switch hitters, too. They always have the advantage. Yeah, yep.
Santana. It's a great lineup for the Indians. They've just been struggling really bad so far this season. I don't know what to make of this, so that's why I'm staying away from this game. But yeah, I'd be with you here. Indians all the way against Nova, but Nova getting ground balls at a crazy rate compared to what we normally see out of him. And his exit velocity is just 89.6, doesn't even reach 90. Really, really weird stats with Nova. I don't know what to expect out of the guy, but yeah, I would be on the Indians if you look at it on the paper.
It's so hard because I'm just waiting for the bats to wake up and the matchups that make sense. And then I get myself in these spots, and it's the 7th inning. They have 1 run, 9 men left on base, and 1 for 11 runners in scoring position. And I want to just, end it all. But hey, the numbers are the numbers. And long term, you hope those numbers stick up for what you're actually looking at and can pay off. So I'm going to go ahead with the Indians tonight. Let's keep going here. The shocker of the night to me yesterday, 9-11, 9-12, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. I was really surprised, not by the fact that maybe, Pittsburgh really got off and scored. It was the fact that that game ended real quick over the first couple innings. I actually thought it was a prudent play to take the run, and thank goodness it was the run line and not the money line over the first 5 innings on the Reds, because I figured they'd be up at least 3-1, 3-2, somewhere in that range. And DeSclafani got rocked yesterday. Now, you're going to get Sonny Graham, the man who's obviously a much better graded pitcher to me. 83% of the tickets coming in on the Reds, opened up at 195, still sitting about that same realm. One would think Cincinnati would be able to easily win this game, but I look at games yesterday and say, look, it's hard to win games in Major League Baseball. When you think you have a sure thing yesterday, it goes right out the window. Same thing today. You look at Sonny Gray. Is there any way you can match this game up here?
Yeah, look, Chad Cole isn't that bad of a pitcher either. 2 ERA, a 2.85 FIP in 3 games, just 1 game started, 9 innings pitched. Striking out 12 batters per 9 innings, also walking 3. And then you have Sonny Gray, 13.1 strikeouts per 9 innings and 3 walks per 9 as well, 2.25 ERA, 2.48 FIP. Cole had the weird stats. 50% hard contact, 30% ground balls, gets very high strikeout numbers, has an extremely low ERA. So really hard to figure him out. I just don't know how deep he'll be able to go in this game. And then when the Reds are able to get the Pirates bullpen in and Sonny Gray's still pitching, that's when I think the game kind of turns around where the Reds start to really explode in this game. So I see the Reds looking at, winning this game at minus 1.5. I'd even look at the Reds over on their team total. I'm not high on Chad Cole. I'm not low on him either. He's been an interesting pitcher throughout the entire season. I don't really know what to expect out of him. A high strikeout guy, like I said, but allowing 30% ground balls and 50% hard contact. It's really hard to figure him out. But Sonny Gray, a little bit easier. 35 strikeouts, 8 walks on the season, going up against a poor Pirates offense. I know they looked solid yesterday, but it's still a poor offense, any way you look at it. So for me, Sonny Gray has the edge here. Reds minus 1.5. Reds over on their team total as well. But I'm not taking this game. It's not an official play. It's just a game that I expect the Reds to win, handedly for the most part.
3 games left. We'll speed through them here. 9:19, 9:20, Texas and Colorado. And you guys know I preach every time. Make sure you check the weather. Colorado in the 90s again tonight for first pitch is what we're anticipating. 6 out of every 10 tickets here coming in on the road team, the Texas Rangers. Line opened up at 110 in the favor of Lynn. Now sits at 131, 135, depending on where you're shopping at. But how about this? Jason, the line opens up at 12, sits at 12.5 at most outlets. Even in New Jersey at FanDuel, we're peaking 13s now. That's hitting weather in Colorado. But 13, goodness.
Yeah, well, look, Lance Lynn's been really good, right, on the Rangers. Yeah. He's their ace pitcher, won 16 games last season. He was a stud last year, and he even had some consideration for the AL Cy Young. So to see a guy that had some consideration for AL Cy Young, and then to see maybe over 12.5, it's like, whoa, like, let's step back for a little bit. However, in 4 games started this season, he's getting just 25% of ground balls. 75% are in the air. That is really risky in Coors Field when going up against the Rockies offense, when you have Charlie Blackmon, Daniel Murphy. These guys are hitting the ball really, really well as of late. So really interesting to see that. But then you have Ryan Castellani on the mound, the rookie pitcher for the Rockies. In his first start of the season, allowed no runs and had a 3.07 FIP. But in that first start, he had an exit velocity of 98. He was scorched in that game, had no runs, but an exit velocity of 98 is pretty scary when you're in Coors Field. I know the Rangers don't have that crazy offense, but they do have guys that can hit for power and hit hard, especially like Gallo, Frazier, whoever's playing. They do have guys that can hit hard, against other pitchers. So for me, I think is the play. Like we've seen this before anyway. Like the starters, they're doing their job, but then the bullpens are really destroying, those unders and then reaching those overs. If Lynn allows maybe 1 or 2 home runs in this game, Castellani allows those exit velocity, hard contact line drives off the wall here and there, runners on base, he'll be out of the game early. And I think this game goes over once the bullpens come in.
How about 9:21, 9:22, Seattle and Houston? Yusei Kikuchi. Now, it's interesting here because you're taking a look at him with an ERA above 5, but his xFIP and FIP tells another story, and this one much lower. So maybe he's getting a little bit of some bad breaks here, but you got to take a look at Framber Valdez, the lefty, opens at 190 today. We're now sitting at 225 at Chris, 225 at 5 dimes, 235 at some outlets here in New Jersey. So a substantial favorite. And also take a look at Kikuchi going from that easier pitching ballpark up in Seattle now to a hitter's ballpark down in Houston. The public's not trusting because that line is rising, and just about 8 out of every 10 tickets coming in on the Houston Astros. Do you trust Valdez with that high of a line in this type?
No, I don't. I would trust Kikuchi more, but I'd even trust more just under 4.5 in the first 5 and just call it a day, and then not worry about the bullpens coming in or guys like Altuve just literally looking awful this season. I don't even know if he's going to be playing today. He might get a break. So, I don't get under 4.5 in the first 5 for this game. Both guys getting solid ground ball rates. Both guys have crazy good FIPs of below 2.2 each. So for me, I like under 4.5 in this one. I don't think the offenses will do much, at least to start the game, maybe more towards the end of the game. So under 4.5 in the first 5 would be my lean for this one. And if you're looking for that underdog play, the Mariners seem like the play here. There's no way I trust the Astros with a line of minus 215 or whatever that number is. Way too high for a team that's really struggling offensively going up against Kikuchi, who's actually looked pretty solid for the most part, getting ground balls, not leaving guys on base, but you think that should regress at some point, and his FIP is really good. So for me, Mariners for the money line would probably be the play.
Second battle of California today, Jason, 927, 928, Oakland and San Francisco. Montes versus Cueto, 6 out of every 10 tickets coming in on the Oakland Athletics. Line opened up pretty high, minus 186 for a road team. Now, when you say road team, you're basically crossing a bridge over from Oakland into San Francisco. That sits at 190 at Chris, 178 at 5 dimes, an over-under of 8.5. Only one way I'm going with this one. Look, Johnny Cueto from opening night was okay, and after that has really stumbled a bit. xFIP certainly high. I'm going to go with the first 5 innings wager. I'm going to take the team total Oakland Athletics over 2.5 in the first 5. I think they get the 3 runs. Decent weather out there in San Francisco tonight. 71 degrees, wind blowing out. It's always blowing out the dead center, but a nice 75, 71, 72 degrees. Don't have to deal with those mid-50s. I'll take that. I think Oakland gets to Cueto early and puts 3 on the board before 5. That's the way I'm going here. How about you, Jason?
Yeah, Cueto's been extremely interesting. First game pitched really well. In between, didn't pitch so well. Then he had no hitter bid going in 5 innings, and then all of a sudden, Hunter Pence literally just missed the ball, and then he just unraveled from there. But yeah, there's no way I trust Cueto, especially against the Athletics. I know Laureano's out of the game. Whatever. The Athletics still have a great offense with Chapman starting to heat up a little bit, and some of the other guys starting to heat up a little bit as well. So yeah, I like the Athletics here at minus 1.5. I look at over 8 in this matchup as well. Frankie Montes has looked pretty good so far this season, a 1.57 ERA, a 2.46 FP. His BABIP is 0.237. Cueto's is 0.25. So really interesting BABIPs for those two pitchers. But yeah, Cueto, yeah, not been has not been good, and he definitely should slump at some point in this game against the Athletics offense. So give me Athletics minus 1.5 as a lean, and I'll also lean towards over 8.
Every game in the book in 35 minutes or less, as I like to tell you guys. We value your time out there. We're not going to waste it, get you in, get you out, but now it's time to get you some money, and we're going to go over some bankers and best bets. Been over quite a few games here. You guys know the leans I have, but again, I'm going back to the well. Even if that well has been dry on the season, it's the Cleveland Indians team total over 4.5, and that's at minus, look at this. This is juicy too. Minus 140 at 5 dimes. I'm not going to go over anything over 150. I wanted to keep it off of that 5 line. Do yourself a favor. You could probably get 5s across the board, but I want the 4.5. So when they hit 5, I'm going to cash this ticket. And it's simple here. Again, it's a fade against Nova. It's a 5.42 xFIP. It's not striking anybody out. It's walking too many batters. And also when you take a look, say, hey, Nova does pretty well against right-handed batters. He's due to face 8 out of the 9 left-hand side, which he struggles, a 379 weighted on base average with an ISO of 200 and an exit velocity average of around 89. He's going to get hit tonight. We're going to cash this ticket, and we're going to ride off into the sunset this weekend. Jason, take it away with your best bets and bankers.
Yeah, I really hope the Indians do some damage because I'm
Yeah.
I'm just waiting to see them do something.
Yep.
So if I stay away, you might be lucky and you might get it. So I'm not touching that game. Good for your sake and my sake. But anyway, we're gonna go with the Marlins first 5 on the money line at minus 106 over the Braves. That will be the banker play for the day for me. Again, the Marlins first 5 money line minus 106 is the banker and an official play for me. I also have the Royals and Twins over 9 at minus 129. I know it's at 9.5, and even at 10, try to get that 9.5, go that alternative line, and you can even get probably around minus 130, minus 135 on 9.5. I'd rather you take that than get the 10. But, the 10 is not the end of the world because it'll just be a push if you end up taking that, if they get over that 9.5 anyway. So that'll be my other play. Then lastly, we're going to look at the Padres at minus 127 over the Diamondbacks. Again, Lamet's looked really good throughout the entire season, but even better against the Diamondbacks. 19 strikeouts and 1 walk versus the Diamondbacks in 2 games started. He's looked fantastic. Only allowed 4 earned runs in 4 starts this season. I expect him to continue with that mojo going into this game as well.
Over 250 people live all show. We do thank you for that. And again, if you missed anything here, please reach out to myself at RightSide VP on Twitter and also Jason_Radowitz on Twitter. But again, SBRodds.com, sportsbookview.com. It's really simple. You see that button below down there with the link SBRpicks.com/MLB. If you missed it, click on that. Videos, information, write-ups, all Jason stuff is right there as well. Another fun week here on the networks breaking down Major League Baseball. As I said, we'll do it again on Monday and go right through Friday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time each and every day. He's Jason Radowitz. I'm Donnie Seymour for SportsBookReview.com. This was your Major League Baseball show.